Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. At least it's morning here. And it is really, really cold. We have been down to 0 degrees and even below the last few days. I hope you guys are staying warm. All right, we're going to continue with Mafatu. And he has just climbed up the plateau and has now gone down the other side and discovered a huge idol. Mafatu stood rooted, unable to advance, powerless to flee. Yuri slunk at his side, growling low, the hair on his neck lifting stiffly. Involuntarily, the boy looked up. Through an opening in the trees, the cloud cone of Smoking Island floated on a wine-colored sea. Could that distant island be the home of the savages who used this Matu taboo, or forbidden island, for their place of sacrifice? Was it here that they came in their black canoes to turn the night hideous with their drums and ceremonies and leaping fires? Mafatu shivered. He had believed that Maui, god of the fishermen, had led him safe to this island. But perhaps, after all, it had only been a cruel prank of Moana, the sea god, angry at having been cheated. The boy seemed to hear Moana saying, someday, Mafatu, I will claim you. Mafatu's fears are definitely still trying to get to him. It was evident that the savages had been here recently, for the piles of ashes rested undisturbed by the wind and storm. The cleared circle seemed to hold its breath, locked in a supernatural silence. As the boy paused, irresolute, looking up at the towering mare, means sacred place, the idol, his eye was caught and held by a gleam of light, and his heart gave a mighty leap, for he saw that a spearhead lay on the sacred platform. Finely ground, sharp-edged, a spear for food, a weapon against attack. Dare he take it? It might mean death. His heart pounded. He moved 1 foot forward. His hands were damp and cold. The flashing spearhead winked back at him like an evil eye. The boy's limbs turned to water. For a second, he was powerless to move. In that moment, had a score of black men leaped forth from the jungle, he could not have stirred or cried. He fought himself for control. Taking a deep breath, he whispered, "It is you, Maui, who have led me to this island. I know it. Do not forsake me now." Almost it seemed as if he could see dark shadows moving among the ferns and hear the phantom whisper of voices. But he edged forward, poised for instant flight. There, he was so close to the idol that he could have touched it. He reached out his hand. It took every ounce of his willpower. The spearhead glistened brightly. His fingers closed about it, tightened. The towering idol cast a shadow of darkness across the green earth. Quickly, the boy drew the spearhead toward him, but in moving it, he dislodged a bone. It fell at his feet. Its touch was deathly cold. Mafatu gasped. Then he whipped about and was running, but he still gripped the spearhead in his fist. He scrambled back up the path whence he had come. His heart was hammering, his leg stiff and sore. The twisted roots of the mape trees reached for him as he fled. Never had they seemed so much like grasping fingers. The giant tree ferns turned the jungle to an eerie gloom. The boy was filled with unaccountable dread. His limbs seemed weighted. When at last he reached the base of the lava slide, he turned at right angles and fought his way upward, hauling, pulling himself by vines. At last he gained the plateau, drew up breathless and panting. The spear flashed in his hand. He looked down at it in wonder. Nothing had happened to him. He had touched the sacred mare, dislodged a bone on the place taboo, yet still he lived. The sun shone, the sky arched blue, nothing was changed. And the spear, aye, but it was a beautiful one. It was worth all the risk. Those eaters of men had wrought well. Now he, Mafatu, could kill the wild pig. Now he could defend himself against attack. But most important of all, he knew that he had won a great victory over himself. He had forced himself to do something that he dreaded, something that took every ounce of his will. The taste of victory salted his lips. He threw out his chest and cried, "It is you, Maui, who have helped me. My thanks to you." Yuri leaped and pranced with excitement at his master's side.